I made my teacher cry. Story time. When I was in second grade, I had this teacher and she was the devil, and we're gonna name her Miss Jackson. And the reason I call her a devil is because she would say really mean things to me to my face. She would be like, Ty, stop talking like that, you sound like a little girl. Or, your favorite color can't be pink, you have to choose one of the boy colors. And since I was so young, I didn't understand how serious these things were, and I didn't know I can get her in trouble. And I would go home sad like every single day. Eventually my mom noticed and she asked me what was wrong. So I told her some of the things that Miss Jackson would say to me, and my mom was mad. And my mom was like, the next time she says something to you, say something rude back, and if you get in trouble, I'll handle her from there. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. Now, Miss Jackson was a heavy lady, so I knew if I said something rude to her, it would be about her weight. Though we don't body shame around here. We don't do that, okay? So I'm in school eating lunch with my friends who happen to be girls, and Miss Jackson comes up to me and she's like, shouldn't you be eating with the boys? So I looked at her and I was like, shouldn't you be eating a salad? And the lunchroom started laughing, and then she started crying. My sister can see ghosts. Story time. When we were younger, my sister used to claim that she could see ghosts all the time, but I never really believed her until this one night. I decided that I was going to sleep with my sister in her bedroom this night. A night that I will never forget. Now, my sister is someone who snores, very loud, I might add. So whenever I would sleep in her bedroom, I would hear her snoring throughout the whole night. Well, on this particular night, I could hear her snoring, but then all of a sudden she gets silent. I look over to see if she's okay, and she's propped up in bed and pointing at the closet. And she's kind of freaking me out, so I'm like, are you okay? And she turns to me with this really scared look on her face, and she says, there's someone in the closet. And as soon as she says that, something spooks her and she runs out of the room. But the creepiest part about this whole situation is that after she left, I heard footsteps run out the room after her. She almost lost her eye because of me. Story time. So in college, I used to have the worst roommate because she would always take my stuff without my permission and then not return it. And I would always tell her like, hey, I don't care if you use my stuff, but at least ask me so I know, you know? She didn't care though. She continued to use my stuff anyway. Now, one of the things she constantly took from me were my eye drops. Which was super annoying because in college my eyes were constantly dry from like staying up late and doing homework and things like that. So I told her like, when you use my eye drops, please put them back because I need them. But of course she did not listen to me and continued to take them without putting them back. So I did what anybody would do. I dumped out all my eye drops and replaced it with super glue. But I did tell her, like, hey, this is not eye drops, this is super glue, so don't use it. And she didn't believe me and used it anyway. But don't worry, she didn't lose her eye. It was just shut for a couple days. Burned down the house. Story time. When I was a little kid, I used to love making potions. Not real ones, of course. I would just mix random things together like my mom's perfumes, her hair products, or just random stuff I found around the house. And yes, I would get in trouble every single time, but I still did it anyway. Now, normally when I made potions, they would be harmless. You know, no one would ever get hurt. Until this one day where I took it a little bit too far. So I decided I was gonna make a love potion. It was for this person I had a crush on, but that's besides the point. So at the time, in my head, you had to mix everything pink in your house together, write your crush's name on a piece of paper, set it on fire, and then drop it into the potion. Now, that sounds easy enough, but the problem was I made the potion flammable. I put all my mom's pink perfumes in it, and then on top of that, I put in a whole bottle of pink nail polish remover, which is extremely flammable. So as I was dropping the lit piece of paper with my crush's name into the potion, it caught fire. I tried to put it out, but I dropped it, and then the whole house caught fire. I killed my supervisor. Story time. So I used to work at this store, right? And everything was great there. We all got along, we all liked each other. But the most liked person at our job was our supervisor, who I'm gonna name Ernie. He was so nice and so understanding, and everyone loved him. But it was Ernie's last day at the job because he was getting older and it was time for him to retire. So me and the other employees decided that we were going to throw him a going away party. So a couple of us left work early, went out to get food and decorations, and then went back to work to set up the break room for Ernie's going away party. And everything was going smoothly. All we had to do was wait for Ernie to go into the break room to surprise him. Well, when he finally did enter into the room, I had a tiny horn in my hand and I blew it in his face. Well, the noise must have shocked him because he fell over backwards. And he did not get back up. We had to call an ambulance to come get him. He never even made it to the hospital. He died inside of the truck. But yay for retirement. There was a demon sleeping in my bed. Story time. So growing up, me and my brother used to share a room. And not only did we share a room, but we shared a bed as well. I slept on the outside and he slept on the inside. So every time he would have to get up to go to the bathroom or something, he would have to climb over me. So one day he decided that he was going to sleep at his friend's house. So I was like, cool, whatever. I get the room to myself. Or so I thought. I go to bed, and then the next day, really early in the morning, I feel somebody crawl over me and get into the bed next to me. So I just figured that my brother had just came home early or something. So I say his name, but all he says back is, shh, close your eyes, go back to sleep, it's just me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I went back to sleep because I was tired. So when I finally did get up, I look over and I see my brother, but he's like under the covers. So I'm like, good morning. And he responds with this groaning noise, like, So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna go out and watch TV in the living room. While I'm watching TV, like 5 minutes later, my brother walks through the front door. So I was like, weren't you just in bed? He was like, no, I just got back from my friend's house.
If anyone's wanting to know how to get revenge on someone who spread rumors about you, listen to this story and it may come in handy. So I had a friend that we can call Miranda who was obsessed with me. I was genuinely friends with her, but she would never give me a break. I could not get a breather from her at any point in time. Everywhere I went, she went. And this girl would actually get so upset with me anytime I would go over to another friend's house. I knew she was really insecure and just trying to get attention, so I tried to be patient with her. However, one day I just could not take it anymore. I got into a massive fight with her over how overprotective she is. I literally said, you are a stage 5 clinger. And in response, this girl ended up joining my basketball and softball team, which I've been on for forever. She told her mom that I was bullying her, which was a complete lie, but then her mom went to the coaches. She got me kicked off the team and then continued to spread rumors about me. I ended up losing my best friends and even my boyfriend over the rumors that she spread about me. So that's when I decided to get revenge. So I decided that I was going to send her over an apology gift with makeup in it, which was a mix of drugstore items and poison ivy. I got revenge on my obsessive best friend for spreading rumors about me. So I put together an apology gift for her for bullying her, even though I did not. The gift that I put together was the makeup I got from Walgreens, but I decided to add some poison ivy to the eyeshadow so that she would get a rash. I then set up a hidden camera and watched as she put it on. And as expected, the rash started to form. After she noticed, I started to tell her off and accuse her of all the stuff she did to me. And she was so pissed that I managed to get a confession out of her. She was very much just like, yeah, I did that. Literally over me not wanting to spend every waking second with her. And the best part of it is that she threatened me on camera. So I cut out the part about the poison makeup and told her if she didn't tell my friends, coaches, and significant other what she was doing, I would send the video to everyone. So she admitted to all of her crimes and I got back on the team. I got my friends back and my boyfriend apologized. I ended up totally fine and she ended up losing credibility with basically everyone. If any of you guys have a story you'd like me to share on my TikTok, follow my Instagram and I'll show you how.
Story time about my toxic ex-friend group. So my freshman year, I had moved to a new high school. So right away, I started being friends with this group of girls, and they were super nice. And I was also friends with this group of guys. Well, since I was friends with both groups, we all started hanging out all the time, but only whenever I was there. The boys just didn't want to hang out with the other girls. And after a few months, the girls started acting really strange. So anytime that I would hang out with the boys and not invite them, they would ignore me for a whole week. Meaning they wouldn't talk to me in school, they wouldn't answer my messages, or anything like that. Not a single one of them. And also, anytime that we hung out, they would be like, oh, invite the boys. And it was like they never wanted to hang out with me. So the one night, one of the boys was throwing a party. And I was going, and the girls asked if they could come, but they had drama with a lot of people, so the boys didn't want them coming, but I invited them anyways. Like for part 2. Story time about part 2 to the toxic ex-friend group story time. So, I invited them to the party, they showed up, and they were being really rude and, standoffish the whole entire night. And these girls literally hated it whenever I would hang out with the boys or talk to the boys. Come to find out that every single one of the girls had a crush on every single one of the guys that were in my friend group. Also, I'm a very friendly person and will talk to anybody, and they got pissed off whenever I was talking to anybody who wasn't them. So a little bit into the party, I start getting a lot of dirty looks from a lot of different girls that I've never even talked to. And this girl walks up to me and she's like, why have you been Snapchatting my boyfriend? And I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? She goes, a few of your friends told me that you like my boyfriend and that you've been Snapchatting him and trying to get with him. So then she calls the girls over from my friend group and goes, didn't she tell me this? And they're like, yeah, she tries to get with everybody's boyfriend. So after that, I got kicked out of both friend groups because they spread a bunch of lies and rumors about me.
Story time. My manager became my stalker. 4 years ago when I turned 16, I started working at Dunkin'. This was my first job, by the way. So my interview process was super easy. We probably talked for like 5 minutes and then he just hired me on the spot. When it came to training, he was the only one that could train me. And he told people not to teach me anything or to not even talk to me. So I found that weird. So this one day my dad texted me and obviously I went to go check my phone. And my manager was literally stalking me through the security cameras. I probably held my phone for 10 seconds. And he texted me within that same period of time to get off my phone. So I look up around me and I'm like, where is he watching me from? He's not even here. He was literally watching me from his house. Every little thing I did, he would text me about it. And then things got a lot weirder, like for part 2. Story time, my manager became my stalker part 2. Like I said, he was watching me through the security cameras on every little thing I did. And he would text me about it. At the time, I found that weird, but I found this weirder. He would text me all the time saying, oh, can you come into work today? Like, it's really busy and we really need you. So this was during summer, so I had all the free time. So I'm like, okay, I can come in. So I would come in and clock in. So as soon as I did that, he would send somebody home. He basically just wanted me there every day, even when they didn't even need me. And he would always constantly ask me if I'm hungry, because where my Dunkin's located, there's a bunch of food chains around it. And of course, I would always say, no, I'm okay, because I found it really odd. But not only that, he's also around the same age as my dad. So I just found everything really strange. He would text me even when I'm not at work. And this went on for 2 months until I finally quit. He did not like that at all. Story time.
Story time of how my stepmom got so jealous of me and my dad's bond that she plotted to kill me. So I never really liked my stepmom in the first place because she was a little controlling over my dad, and I just knew that she hated me and I really hated her too. But you know, my dad was in love and he seemed happy, so I didn't really say anything. And my dad would always take me to lunch on Saturdays and Sundays, and we'd have like a dad-daughter bonding day, I guess. And me and my dad were just super close. And every single weekend, me going to lunch with him would start an argument between them two because she said I was taking time away from them two. My dad really never chose sides, but I never really got involved in the relationship as much as I hated her because I just loved seeing my dad happy. Also, at this time, I was 15. And what I'm about to say next might sound just a little crazy and unbelievable, but I'm not sure who she was on the phone with. But while on the phone with somebody, she was talking about getting rid of me. Mind you, my mom had passed away when I was younger, and I really had no other family to go to. Now, this is where the story takes a turn for the worse and she tries to get rid of me. I'm running out of time like for the crazy part 2. Two of how my stepmom got so jealous of me and my dad's bond that she plotted to kill me. Continuing on with the story, I don't know who she was on the phone with, but I overheard her on the phone saying that she was going to get rid of me. And honestly, I didn't really care and I didn't really think anything of it because I knew she was crazy, but I didn't think she was that crazy. So all of a sudden, she started making me breakfast. And I'm not a breakfast person. I can't eat right when I get up. So every time she would make me breakfast, I'd be like, thanks, but I'm not hungry. And she would get so mad. Like, so freaking mad. I'm not going to get into all the little details, but comes to find out, she was putting rat poison in my food. She had set up cameras in my room. And I don't know what kind of sense this makes. I think she's just crazy, but she started to hide snakes in my room and claim it was my fault that the snakes were coming in my room. Yeah, doesn't really make any sense. Once I told my dad and my dad got out of his little in love stage with her, he finally stepped up and said something to her. And she admitted that she wanted me dead. He eventually called the cops, and to this day, she is in jail for attempted murder. Oh, did I forget to mention the day that he broke up with her, she tried to stab me in the throat.
So when I was little, I thought I was Sophia the First and was gifted the power to talk to animals. So one day, I was outside having a nice conversation with a squirrel when this girl came up to me and started laughing at me because I was talking to a squirrel. She asked me, "Are you talking to a squirrel?" And I said yes. Then she started laughing at me and making fun of me. We were standing underneath a tree filled with squirrels, so a whole pack of squirrels jumped on her head and started attacking her. That is still my favorite moment from my childhood. So